Let's check in on the market space first with Temple Ashaju, our business correspondent, is back towards the end of the program. Let's check with our opening call for today. Temple, welcome back to the program. This is the second trading day, and if we look at where we finished off yesterday, it didn't give any much cause for cheer, despite those numbers from UBA, from Access Bank, those dividends being paid, then the news of Access and Diamond Bank merger. So it looks like investors are looking for something to spike or to make a multivitamin. Let me put it that way. Yeah, I remember that. I take a bit of that. Just get their bearings back.
Exactly, boss, and you're correct. I mean, the numbers for Access Bank may not be so attractive, but a lot of investors and traders here are optimistic still about Access Bank because this is a company that has some good pedigree in this market in terms of dividend payments, bonuses payment, interim dividends, availability to investors here. And so they are just kind of deferring the gratification that may come from this particular company due to the fact that the acquisition of Diamond Bank is something in the works. The timeline commences from 1st of April, and it is something to watch. And so they are really just looking at the fact that once this whole deal is consummated, then they will be able to benefit much better from Access Bank going forward. But the good news on the mergers and acquisition.
Okay, Temple.
That the final approval has not been given by the regulators.
Yes, the central bank and the SEC, of course, both banks says yes, they've given their approval, but I think the last line is for the court to sanction both the regulators' approval and those court-ordered meetings that had been successfully completed. But again, as far as the market is concerned, I'm not seeing anything really much in terms of earnings that could be a catalyst.
Yes, you're correct. I mean, possibly the fact that we're seeing a lot of close periods, board meetings still being announced and deliberately being delayed till this point in time was due to the elections, general elections that took place. Once these approvals are done and a whole lot of these announcements have now been realized, then we will certainly start seeing the numbers coming in more than as expected. I mean, it's just for us to basically just wait for all of this to happen, and then we'll start seeing the numbers trickling in on daily basis. You know how it is, both when these numbers come in, a lot of time it dominates the lineup for news bulletins and all of that. So we just need to keep our fingers crossed. It's an election year, and it's just for us to be patient to see how these will pan out. For a lot of the insurance companies, they've announced a delay in the filings of their numbers. Don't forget, last year was a year that was a bit confusing for a lot of the insurance companies due to the tier-based recapitalization that was processed, that was supposed to come in from NICOM. So that really kind of topples their plans more, and that's the reason for all of these delays in filing. So once all of these notices have been elapsed, I mean, we should certainly start seeing those numbers coming in, and a lot of reaction, positive reaction, should also come in more from the traders and, of course, the investing community. Boson.
Okay, on the exchange today, the NSE and the Global Reporting Initiative holding this a couple of hours workshop or training, as it were, for C-level executives of quoted companies and others on what you called sustainability reporting. And of course, the exchange says it will unveil the NSE sustainability disclosure guidelines today for companies. This will be additional issues for quoted companies to deal with moving forward.
Correct. It is something that they intend to carry the companies that are listed here along on. I mean, we know that the NSA signed, I think, a part of this agreement sometimes in 2016, and now it is looking to extend the tenets of that agreement to its companies by giving them guidance as to how a lot of them will be able to comply with sustainable demands of the United Nations as it relates to the SDG goals. With some timeline or the deadline of 2030, where they're looking to be able to realize a lot of the goals. So we'll certainly be seeing a lot of companies, representatives, executives of these companies that are tradable on the Nigerian Stock Exchange attending that event. It's an event that we at Channels 2 will be covering and be able to give some updates to viewers much later in the day. So thereafter, we'll be able to communicate the plans and the decisions reached between the stock exchange and, of course, these executives to the viewers, both.
Yes, the market is starting a little bit soft within just the early hour or so of trading. Zenith Bank shares, Ikeja Hotels, Diamond Bank shares are down. The composite index is just a tad of a neuter as we speak. The banking sector is taking some of the early softness here. Do you think this is the way the market will go for today? Or is it early hours? It's too early to tell.
Yeah, so this is like, this was the kind of sentiment we saw about this time yesterday too, Bosin. I mean, it started very soft and it ended a little bit better than being soft, some 0.06%, which technically is still flat anyways. So we're seeing this sentiment playing out at this point in time. Some analysts have predicted for this week we'll continue to see the bearish sentiment, although sell-offs are expected to reduce going forward. But when things like this, when trends like this or this kind of behavior is happening on prices in the market, it signals bargain hunting in the week ahead. And that's why I'm saying that this bargain hunting is likely to happen basically from Thursday or Friday into next week, pending when more earnings will come into the market. And don't forget, the more earnings we see, the more you see a reduction of holdings in those companies so that they can use more funds to then buy other companies that will be releasing their earnings. Of course, due to the fact that they must have gained some, there must have been some capital appreciation on the companies that they bought before, and then they see the dividends being paid out. Just like an example is that of Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank held its AGM yesterday. I mean, the dividend has been paid to a lot of the investors via electronic means. So it gives room for you to quickly sell down as a smart trader and then start taking position in some other companies. For Ikeja Hotel, which you mentioned earlier, I really don't know yet what is driving the sell down on this particular company, but it is a particular stock to actually watch going forward. We'll continue to watch because this has been the third consecutive day of loss on Ikeja Hotel, actually.
You know, Ikeja Hotel, Temple was under the SEC's administration. If you remember, the entire crisis that engulfed Ikeja Hotels over the past few years with the exit and issues around the Hebrews and whatever, and then the SEC stepped in, accounting issues and all of that. Thank you, Temple Ashaju. Investors are watching very closely and looking at the market. But let's take the last minute of the show to check in with the opening call for fixed income market. Let's get Bankole Odusanya, head of fixed income at UBA, into the conversation. Good morning. It's good to have you through from FMDQ Exchange Place.
Good morning, Boss.
Thank you. Great to have you. So, what is head scratching for the fixed income market this week as we enter the second day of trading?
Okay. Activity have been low, even though there's almost issuance today as we speak. 205 days is on offer with 93 days. The rates dropped so low that it became almost non-attractive. Demand and attraction is still for one-year treasury bills. They are trading currently at 12.75, 12.5 levels. The central bank has stopped issuing them at the OMO issuance, and so there's demand, but the supply is short. On the NTB space, where these bills are issued every week or every other week, just about 70 billion is being offered, meaning that most of the investors in the last auction are holding for, till maturity. They are investors and not traders, really. So in the market, these bills are not very liquid, basically. What we are looking, our view of the debt market right now is that the presidency, that's it, the federal government could make a revision to the budget as proposed, when we have a new legislature, ninth assembly come into place. And the reason why we're saying this is simply because of the discussion, the agreements they've had with labor concerning minimum wage. We do not think these amounts agreed for are in the budget, so there will need to be some amendment, meaning that there may be need for additional borrowing. Should this happen, the view of interest rates and debt pricing will change slightly.
Okay.
The other issue at hand is the issue of the NMPC's subsidy management.
Okay.
If this comes into appropriation also, this is more expense to be borne by the government, and then it means that we need to borrow more.
Okay.
And it has an impact on the markets.
Okay. Thank you for giving us, using the field glasses to give us a sense of where the market is going. Thank you. Bankole Udusanya of UBA, the head of fixed income, live to us from FMDQ Exchange Place. Let's leave it there for today. Of course, the Senate today is looking at the MTEF as a basis for discussing 2019 budget. That's happening today in the chambers. Bankole just talked about the budget 2019 there. We'll leave it all for today. Tomorrow is another day, March the 20th. We're back in 24 hours. Have a good day, everyone. Goodbye from Lagos.